Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. And yes, I have gained weight. Oh my god. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, I feel really good about the weight gain too. So I wanted to show you guys how I've been doing this abstract splatter resin in trays and ashtrays. I started out mixing my resin per usual. I use a 50-50 ratio of parts A and B, and I mix that really thoroughly until it's well combined. After I mix my resin, then I divided it equally into 3 small cups. So I'm adding some white into each cup to make the colors a little okay. And I use white a lot, white alcohol ink. So I've been using India ink, which has a little more pigment and turns out a little more opaque when you use it. And it works just the same as alcohol ink, but it has more color in each drop. So that's helpful for me because I use white a lot. I also use pink India ink. Again, it just has more pigment. I don't have to use as many drops. And then I'm not buying a whole 24 pack of alcohol inks when I only need pink. So I add pink, purple, and blue ink to each of the cups that I already added white to. And then I mix them together and make sure the color's right. So I take the pink ink and I channel my inner Jackson Pollock and I just, splatter it on there randomly. And then I start with the blue, just doing random, whatever this is. And then I do purple last. And what happens as it starts to cure and dry more is it starts creating puddles, so they'll kind of become little multicolored dots everywhere, which I'm fine with. So after I got all my splatters done, then I waited about an hour. Now, if I pour resin on it right away, I'm afraid that it will make the colors I already put down move and it will create those as cool of sections as I want if I fill up the mold the rest of the way. So I waited an hour and then I start mixing my resin again. Again, I do a 50-50 mixture, but whatever resin you get will have its own instructions on it. Just follow those. And then I added black alcohol ink and 3 different tones of iridescent powder. I added a red powder for representing my pink color, violet for my purple, and blue iridescent for the blue splatter that I already put down. So I just put a little scoop of each iridescent powder into my black resin, and then I mix that all thoroughly together. And I mean, this might be a big news flash, but guess what? Red and blue make violet, so it all turned violet essentially. But I like to tell myself that there's slightly different tones in there. I don't know. Anyway, so I mix that all together and then I just fill the trays the rest of the way and go over it with a heat gun to make sure there's no bubbles on the back side. So when I came back, don't mind dog hair, I have this tray, which I think turned out really well. I asked my roommate what he thought, and he said that he did not like it. And then he's like, "What, do you want me to lie to you?" And I'm like, yes, I do want you to lie to me. I pretend being interested in your stories all the time, and you can't fake pretending like you like this? What's wrong with you? Yes, I do want you to lie. Obviously, tell me I'm amazing all the fucking time. I don't want to hear anything else. So I got my ashtray molds. These also turned out really cute. I did get freaking dog hair. I do think all of these turned out really cute, these splatter. And these are some of the splatter pieces I did before, so it's a little messier. I think the ones I did on camera turned out better. And these were 2 new ashtray molds I got, and they're freaking huge, which I didn't realize. But for some reason, I think it has to do with the mold. There's a ton of micro bubbles on the surface of both my new ashtrays from the new ashtray mold. So I don't know how to fix that yet, but I'm working on it. So for my skull and my I'm a little high maintenance trays, there's embossing in it. So I just take acrylic paint and a sponge, and I sponge acrylic paint all over the embossing. And I wait for it to dry, and then I scrape it off using a little scraper from my Cricut machine, but I guess anything that can scrape. So I take this little Cricut scraper thing I have, and I wrap it around in a Clorox wipe, and then I scrape off the paint with a Clorox wipe. And that seems to work well. Using the Clorox wipe, it doesn't actually scrape the resin, and yeah, it takes off the paint well. So after I painted it, then I do a thin layer of resin over it to keep the paint sealed, because acrylic paint is water soluble. So in case anybody wanted to wash it, I don't want the paint to come off. So I do a thin layer of resin over it, and when you're just doing a thin layer on top, then you can use the flamethrower too, which I love because that gets rid of bubbles better than anything. But you can't use it on silicone molds because it will pick up your silicone mold. So I paint the embossing and then do a thin layer of resin, and this is what it looks like afterwards. You can also, after you paint, you can go over it with the heat gun. My heat gun is kind of industrial, I guess. But it has settings so you can turn it on colder air. So I'll do that. I'll turn it a little cooler, and then you can go over that way, and it helps dry the paint faster. So I was pretty happy with this, even though my roommate killed my buzz by saying he doesn't like them. When he's like, I want this tray, it's like, I love this, but I don't like this. Same fucking technique, different colors, and he's like, this is trash. So for day 2, I wanted to try again, but I wanted to use my go-to colors, pink, yellow, and blue, to do my to do my splatter. Couldn't figure out the word. So I wanted to try again, but I wanted to do white in the background, and I wanted to use my go-to colors, pink, yellow, and blue, to do the splatter. So I did the same thing as the other day. I mixed my resin, and then I separated it into 3 small cups, and then added pink to 1 cup, yellow to 1 cup, and blue to the other cup. And again, I do the same as the other day. I just splash it around without a fucking care from my floor. I have a tarp on my floor, by the way. I don't, because it would be on my floor if I So I splashed those colors on all my molds, and then I waited an hour and a half or so for them to come together in little small circles again. And then I mixed my resin to fill the rest of the mold with, and I used the middle white alcohol ink, which is stupid. And when you buy white alcohol ink, you have to get it with like the middle white alcohol ink, which is just like, it's fucking useless. It's white if you want your white to look like cum. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. It looks like jizz a little bit. The fucking middle white sucks. And I used that. So everything is translucent, but I added some iridescent fine glitter to it to, I don't know, make me hate the cement color less. And then again, with the I'm a Little High Maintenance tray and the snake tray, I had to paint on it. I haven't covered this yet with resin. I just painted it and scraped off the paint, but I was waiting for it to dry completely. So I still need to cover this part in resin, but I filled this guy with resin on top. And I actually really like it. I think it looks really fun. It looks like candy, actually, kind of. I really like it. So I do have the micro bubbles on these big ashtray molds again, which is annoying, but you can see them less because it's more clear than the black ones. I think the ashtrays turned out really cute, but this technique is really fucking easy. And if you only have a little bit of colored resin left, it's an easy thing to do. That's how I first got started with this guy. I just had leftover resin and spread it out crazily, and I ended up actually really liking it. And I definitely added more color on my ones I did before I started filming this video, and I think it actually looks better, kind of less. Like this one had the least amount, but it's super easy, fun. If you like abstract colors, I recommend. I finally opened an Etsy shop, so if you liked anything here or in my past videos, they're up on the Etsy shop. Oh, at On Infatuation. So I'll leave it in the description below. Oh, and I'll leave everything that I used also in the description below. I think that's it. Yeah, thanks for watching. Check out my Etsy if you're interested, and then you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at On Infatuation. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.